That video comes from Philadelphia, where 6 police officers were wounded by gunshots during a lengthy standoff. It lasted about 8 hours between themselves and an armed man. They were trying to serve the man with a narcotics warrant, and they were met with gunfire. So, Cenk, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so this is something we say often on the show, and not just when there's cop shootings. In fact, when cops shoot folks, we often talk about, look, one of the reasons that they're on hair trigger is because everybody's armed. So I still think that the training needs vast improvements, but we have said on many occasions, on the other hand, everybody's got guns. So can you really blame the cops for immediately thinking that their lives are in danger? Now, when they find out their lives are not in danger in some of the situations that we've covered, well, that's a different fact scenario, and then they should de-escalate. In this case, shots were fired immediately, and so, in fact, they showed great restraint here. The guy actually surrendered eventually and was taken alive, even though 6 cops were shot. So
and luckily, no one died. The police did get wounded. 6 of them did get wounded. They went to the hospital. Many of them have already been released, and they're expected to make a full recovery. But yeah, you're right, Cenk. I mean, this is a situation where they're dealing with someone opening fire, and they did show incredible restraint. 2 of the police officers were inside the home while this was happening, and it lasted 8 hours. Luckily, they were able to save those 2 police officers. So let's go to the graphics. The New York Times reported that Sergeant Eric Grip of the Philadelphia Police Department said on Twitter that 2 officers had been inside the house and had been safely evacuated. Police Commissioner Richard Ross said that the gunfire had broken out as officers were moving toward the kitchen in the back of the house. They returned fire, and some jumped out of the window to escape a barrage of bullets. And finally, the gunman did have a record. He had an extensive criminal history and had opened fire on every officer who had responded, including the commissioner and a SWAT team vehicle. SWAT was necessary to help save the 2 cops that were inside the house.
Yeah, that's a very serious and dangerous situation with a guy who's obviously a pretty decent shot, because he hit 6 of the officers. Look, a lot of the stories are harrowing, of course. One of the bullets grazed an officer's head just a couple of inches south, and then he's got 2 kids. They don't have a dad anymore. So of course the cops fired back, and no one is against that in a situation like this. But once again, though, when it came time for him to surrender, they took him in peacefully, and so great job by the cops overall. But maybe we shouldn't have 300 million guns in the country.
Well, you're not the only one saying that. Several Democratic candidates for president have said the same, and the mayor of Philadelphia has spoken out. Let's go to his statements.
Our officers need help. They need help. They need help with gun control. They need help with keeping these weapons out of these people's hands. I mean, I told you earlier, the 2 little boys the officer had his head grazed just a little bit more, and those 2 little boys will grow up without their dad. Because this government, both on the federal and state level, don't want to do anything about getting these guns off the streets and getting them out of the hands of criminals. This guy is clearly a criminal. He is a criminal, and he had apparently a long record, which I'm not sure, I don't have it in front of me, but has been involved in the criminal justice system before, and he was able to get these weapons and a large magazine, a large amount of bullets. Whether it's our 6 officers who were shot, or it's some 15, 17, 20-year-old kid on the streets of Philadelphia who gets shot with guns that shouldn't be in people's hands. And it's aggravating, it's saddening, and it's just something that we need to do something about.
Yeah, so good report by CBS there. And I want to point out that federal background checks, you've heard me probably say it a million times if you watch the show regularly. The latest poll has it at 90%. We showed you a 94%. We've shown you a 97% poll. It is massively popular, as popular as any program in the country. We don't have it. So criminals can it's a loophole. They can just go to a gun show and not have to show any kind of check at all, no background check, and walk away with any kind of weapon they want. So it's an absolute outrage. It is the bare minimum we could do, and almost all Americans agree to it. Almost all gun owners agree to it. The only people who don't agree to it are the people who sell guns. And of course, they're the major donors to the NRA, and the NRA is the major donors to the Republican Party. So when They talk about the Fox News of the world, and we'll get to them in a sec. Talk about, oh my God, Chicago, so violent, it's all Chicago, right? Well, of course, we know what they're doing. It's coded language for it's all black people's fault. No, if you have think about it, guys. We have 250 to 300 million guns in the country. That is an insane number. And so in this sea of guns, can good guys get guns and do bad things with them? Yes. Can bad guys get guns? Super easy, super easy. Oh, well, Chicago has gun control. Are you kidding me? Okay, so you step 1 foot outside of Chicago. You step 1 foot outside of Illinois, you can get all the guns in the world that you want. So these preposterous arguments, it's the guns, stupid. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.